Today, we're gonna talk about racism. Racism? In Canada. In Canada?
Huh?
Because whether we're aware of it or not, racism is a problem, even here in Canada.
Music and I just don't be feeling it. Racism still alive, they just be concealing it.
So today I want to share a couple experiences with you so we can push the conversation. Because in 2017, the only place racism should exist is history. Let's go! When I was in grade 10, I got into my first relationship, which means I got my first hug, I got my first kiss, and I got my first hand shake. You guys are so sick-minded. I was a good boyfriend, so we used to talk a lot on the cell phone. Actually no cell phone, because this was 2007 and not everyone had cell phones. So we used to talk a lot on the land phone, and I remember one night I called her and I noticed that she sounded really sad. So I started trying to figure out, why was she sad? Like, what was going on? She's like, Goosebar, just got into a fight with my dad. And I was like, what'd you guys fight about? What happened? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. But I kept persisting, and then finally she tells me, Goosebar, my dad doesn't like you. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, he doesn't like you. Which I was a little bit surprised, because 16-year-old Goosebar was a pretty phenomenal kid. I was a straight A student, I never skipped class, and I didn't do drugs. Yet. Mom, I know you watch my videos. That was what we call a joke. The point is, 16-year-old Goosebar, tremendous kid.
Tremendous potential.
So when she told me her dad doesn't like me, I was completely shocked. So I kept probing her until finally she's like, my dad doesn't want his grandkids to be half Iraqi. And I was like, what? First of all, I'm not even Iraqi, I'm Iranian. And second of all, who the fuck said anything about grandkids? This isn't the 70s. Nobody marries their high school sweetheart anymore and then gets a job with their high school diploma. First you need degree, then you go for masters, then PhD, and then you become a professor. But till this day, I still remember how shitty I felt when she told me this. That her dad didn't want her to date me because of the possibility of his future grandchildren being half Middle Eastern. That was in 2007. Fast forward to last weekend, and I'm walking downtown going to the bar, and as I'm walking, some chick yells at me, go back to your country. And when I heard this, I was like, did I just hear what I thought I heard? So I turn around, and as soon as I turn around, her and her nasty ass looking boyfriend start peppering me with insults for no other reason than my skin color. Now, if this was in a big city like Toronto, they both probably would have woken up in the hospital. But it was in London, Ontario, which is a small city in Canada with a history of racism. This past summer, the mayor made a public apology, apologizing for the racism that is happening in the city. So how is it that in 2017, a mayor of a Canadian city has to make a public apology for racism? Personally, I think it all comes down to ignorance. The truth is, we're all immigrants in Canada. The only non-immigrants in Canada are the Indigenous people. This might be our home, but it isn't our country, and there's a difference between the two. And I'd like to finish this video by saying being Canadian has nothing to do with what you look like. If you want to judge me, go ahead, but judge me based on my actions, not my skin color and not my facial hair. This video is done.